Hello everyone and welcome back to round 14 of the F1 24 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps returns, of course. I've said it before, I'm sure I'll say it again. It's my favourite track on the F1 calendar, and of course inside F1 24 it is an even more fun experience now in this game. We've got a little bit of money that we're going to try and spend on upgrading our analysis suite. So that's hopefully going to help Yumo-Asa's stats improve continually and gradually. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from the Hungaroring, go back, check it out. It was a brilliant one. We're also, obviously, we've restarted co-op with Gary, and that's been a lot of fun on the channel as well. Jeddah went up yesterday evening, so yeah, I would recommend going and checking both of those videos out when you get a chance as well there. But take a look at the Drivers' Championship before the summer break. Max Verstappen, 265 points there, 73 clear of George Russell, who's having a pretty good year so far, up in P2. We are just 9 points back behind Oscar Piastri as we get towards the summer stretch. Obviously, once we've gone through Belgium, we're not really taking a break. We'll be back, I'm sure, very soon with the Dutch Grand Prix as well. And quickly, I just want to thank you all again for 3,000 subscribers on the channel. Of course, we're trying to hit now 4K, so if you aren't already and you are enjoying the content, please do hit that sub button. But yeah, let's head out then onto the track here at Spa.
Fully immersed in the beautiful Ardennes forest in Belgium, surely one of the most iconic tracks of them all, it's practice time here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Well, as we head out then onto the circuit here in the Ardennes, of course, we all know Spa is quite synonymous with changeable weather, and taking a look at the radar this weekend, that's exactly what is meant to happen as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. A bit like Hungary last time out, I think, looking at it. It's going to be a lot about survival. For some reason as well, again, it seems genuinely to be tied with the internet, whether I get stutters on this game. It sounds very, very odd.
Distance is on your MFD.
But I'm now completely fully against EA's always online setting for this game. Why do I need to be online to play career mode, or it'll just wipe my settings every single time? It is quite possibly the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and they really should rethink it. Well, I don't want to rant too much, especially when we're back at my favourite track in the world, and, you know, I really do think they have done a good job with this circuit as well. Purple score to kick off the weekend. As we make our way to the end of that qualifying run, then we've done pretty well, of course. We get to use the overtake mode during these sim runs, but I won't get to... Why is this a thing now? Why suddenly does the Delta not work on this game?
Welcome to the behemoth that they value so highly. This is Spa. It's high speed. It is really challenging. We have elevation, we have dramatic corners, and we have one driver in a few moments' time who will take pole position.
Well, qualifying here might end up being one of the shortest you'll ever see inside F1 24. It's meant to rain within about the next 5 minutes. Doesn't look like it yet, but you can see dark clouds starting to descend around the circuit. It's Pierre Gasly there. Clearly doesn't want to kind of get on with it, and then gets on with it and doesn't again. So I fear qualifying might end up being a one-run show. As once again, I just forget that I'm not allowed to use the overtake up at turn 1. Don't get the best line through either. We need a really good lap here, and so far I've done one corner and I've bottled it twice. Down in towards Rouge and Ranion though. Definitely notice still this car. I mentioned it in Hungary. It likes to... It feels really, really low strung to the ground and kind of really vibrates the steering. It's not an issue with the Haas car in driver career mode, so I think it's a car exclusive issue, which is very, very odd. Is Gasly, is he on a lap? I can't really tell. Esteban Ocon certainly is, though, top of the board in that other Alpine. Oh, I do love the fact that Pouon, once again, is pretty much flat there. We had to do a slight blend of throttle on the way in, as time's continuing to improve there, but just trying to be really gentle with the car through this middle sector. Spa now, because of where the gravel traps are and the curbs and things like that, it's not a track you can really attack like you were able to on the older version. It's still obviously a very, very attacking circuit. It's beautiful when you get it hooked up. But yeah, it's certainly more difficult than it was in previous games, just because you've got that little less room to maneuver. Verstappen goes top of the board. on a 142.9. How far away are we going to be from that? I think the answer is fairly. We've lost a little bit of time to Pierre over the course of the lap. See if we can gain it back, though, as we make our way out of the final corner. It's going to be a 44.2. We go quicker than Ocon, but slower than Logan Sargent. Well, everyone that was able to get their laps in nice and early has been rewarded. Pierre Gasly up in P5. Max Verstappen, though, claiming pole position by 0.4 of a second. We end up P12, one of our best qualifying sessions of the year. And Iwasa, that's definitely his best ever qualifying. 17th place on the grid. He's out-qualified Sergio Perez, so there is hope for our young Japanese driver. Oscar Piastri seems to be the one that got really screwed in that process. Down in last place, 3.1 seconds off. But the wet weather is here to stay as we move into the Belgian Grand Prix.
It's the Belgian Grand Prix, the site of the maiden victory of the Jordan team in 1998. The venue that Michael Schumacher made his debut in Formula One. There is so much history here amongst the beautiful nature. Spa in the rain. It's about the only thing that could make it more challenging and dramatic in this part of the world. We have plenty of heavy braking zones, we have fast corners, we have undulation. It's going to be a challenge at Les Combes, the bus stop chicane, but pretty much everywhere you look out on track. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position. Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Norris, Gasly, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Albon, Sainz, Sargent, Mr. Monaco, Ocon, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Iwasa, Joe, Perez, Bottas, Magnussen, Oscar Piastri, and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
Well, here we are then, trackside for the Belgian Grand Prix, and like I said, that rain is here to stay. Intermediate conditions for the start, but it is meant to dry up later on as the race goes on there. The game actually believes a no-stop strategy is possible, but of course, we're going to make a switch to dries, I hope, at some point this afternoon. So it's kind of the opposite of what we got last time out in Hungary. But yeah, Yuki Tsunoda with a grid penalty means Iwasa is in the lofty heights of P16 for the start of this one. Logan Sargent P11, so potentially a couple of our surprise drivers are going to get some big results today. It is 5 red lights though here in Belgium, and it is lights out and away we go. Trying to modulate the throttle there as Ocon gets a much better start than I do. Oh, we made contact with Sargent, but we get away with it somehow there. The game seems to be a lot more lenient on lap 1 for some reason. But yeah, that doesn't mean that we're going to get a better run down the hill, though, as Ricciardo will squeeze past me. Yeah, somehow no damage from that one. Like I said, the game absolutely gives you more leeway on the opening lap of a Grand Prix there. Perhaps trying to obviously suit the less experienced drivers. Fortunately for me, it keeps saving me because I'm a bit of a bottle job inside this game there, as Perez makes up some places at the start as well, up into P16. You can see Iwasa trying to fight with him, though, at the top of the hill there. Look at this, Constantina and up. We'll try and capitalise. Down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo. A little bit of wheel banging as we'll try to give the V-carb some room. Yeah, this is an almighty train that extends to the front of the field then, so everyone really struggling to try and find grip, traction, and even confidence on this lap 1, so we've got to be there ready to capitalise if we possibly can. However, Esteban Ocon, the big winner in all of this, 13th on the grid. He's already up inside that top 10. Oh, we got yellows. Someone, I think that might be Kevin Magnussen's gone for a spin behind us. So Kevin Magnussen, not really what he needed at the start of this race, but luckily, no safety car from it, as we'll try and see what the top end speed is like. I mean, that Williams, we know that thing is going to be racy around this circuit. Will Blanchimont be flat, even on lap 1? I certainly hope so, because that's exactly what we're going to try and do. Yes, it is, but we don't gain as much as I hoped. Oh, we might now, though. I might have spoke too soon. Down the inside of Sargent will go, and we'll go back to P12. Tiny bit of contact with Sainz as well. I've been sloppy on lap 1 recently. Well, I'll be honest, as happy as I am that we kind of clearly got some pace to keep up with quicker cars. I'm also happy that the AI didn't all start on the dries It is still a glitch on this game. I believe they are looking in and hopefully fixing it. But yeah, I mean, every single time I see a race that could be changeable conditions, I think, are we going to have the box on lap 1? Our Sainz there doesn't get the best run out of the final corner. We've got to be there to capitalise. That Ferrari, just been following him around, is really struggling. So down the inside we'll go at the first corner, lock up all 4 wheels. Luckily, we don't need to worry about tyre wear.
Wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Mark clearly agreeing with me. But yeah, we're up into P11 then. As Verstappen, you can already see breaking away. Pierre Gasly, though, in the Alpine, he's currently up in P3. He's battling for a podium. Okay, interesting then. So clearly all of us moving the standing water away from the line. So team don't believe we're that far away from a switch to dries. I'm hoping we can take a set of mediums to the end. I don't really want to use the hards here if I can avoid it. But I guess it'll kind of depend on when the DRS is enabled. Yeah, circuit is really drying up quite quickly here. Luckily, there seems to be a bit of an overlap on the window when you can box back over to dry tyres.
Yeah, the car in front, let's get past them.
But yeah, you can see there isn't... Certainly, it's not raining anymore, and the track, I mean, it's looking a little bit difficult. It's kind of looking a bit like glass at the moment, so it's tough to kind of work out what the line's going to be like. But of course, if you had to guess one of the top team drivers that's struggling in these conditions, you would probably guess Lance Stroll. And yeah, he's starting to cause a bit of a train. Well, I reckon at most then we are 2 or 3 laps away from a switch to the dries. We're starting to struggle a bit more against the AI as well. I think just as the circuit, you know, gets drier and drier, it becomes more about the car rather than the driver behind the wheel. That's my excuse anyway at the moment, as Verstappen is setting new fastest laps over and over. We actually go purple through the final sector. This thing, once again, in the low-speed stuff, is actually very competitive. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Alex Albon to the outside of Lance Stroll at the end of the Kemmel Straight. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top on this one. And Stroll this time is going to get the elbows out, forces Albon over the inside curbing there. And we'll live to tell the tale. I am just so scared of boxing at the wrong time and losing a potential points finish, just like we did at Hungary. Oh, Alex Albon! Suddenly, out of nowhere, the engine on that Williams is going to go up in a big way. Unfortunately, we get a little bit caught out by it on the racing line. Not as badly as Carlos Sainz, though, as Alex Albon out of the Belgian Grand Prix then. So heartbreak for Williams and a virtual safety car. That's our cue. We're going to box now, but I'm tempted to move over to no.
Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta. Right, drop your speed. Our delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
We're going to be real cheeky as well, as we're going to go way under the delta. But obviously try not to lose out as much from it. This is a big gamble.
It's ending. Maintain your pace until we get the green flags. VSC ending. Wait for the greens.
Damn it. I wanted the VSC to stay out for as long as possible, so we're going to lose even more time.
The marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are so far no plans for a safety car. Right, let's go. Come on. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
Oh, no. We are boxed too early here. I just saw the amount of water that kicked up when we came off the intermediates. We'll monitor the gap to Yuki, but I'm expecting it to go up. Actually, it don't feel too bad, immediately changing my mind.
VSC deployed. The virtual safety car has been deployed. We need to keep a positive delta here. Slow down and maintain a positive delta.
Well, I mean, that virtual safety car works out well for me, because the circuit's still drying out and no one else is able to pull out time. But 2 VSCs back to back, and I think that was because they were removing Albon's car. Well, the last thing I wanted to see there was the AI able to get a cheap pit stop as well, as we definitely still don't quite have the grip. But no one else is boxing in just yet, and I'm pretty confident that we've made the right call-ish. Well, I've said it countless times on this game, but yeah, you keep the car on the dry line. We've got enough pace here to hang with Tsunoda, and of course that's only going to get better and better. Get it on the damp stuff, though. You have just got nothing at all. It's just going to lock up, and you're going to go straight on. There we go. Oh, Bottas and Oasa into the pits side by side. I hear plenty of contact between them.
In the pits. Ayumu is in the pits now.
Ayumu Oasa has hung on then, so that's good news for him, temporarily. But yeah, I mean, that's the second time I've seen on this game. The first one, obviously, was me and Alonso. But the AI really do like to go side by side here into the pits, as we have made the right call. We are starting to take time out of everybody. Oh, Tsunoda to the inside of Kevin Magnussen as well. This might be an even easier way to gain a little bit more, as both of them, I think, now trying to find damp patches to keep their tyres cool. Tsunoda, though, with a power move around the outside. Oh, again, you get off the dry line, it is over. Oh, we got yellows out. I think that's Sergio Perez. I think that's Sergio Perez now breaking down, so we got to really hope we don't end up with a safety car here. Otherwise, that could be detrimental to our Grand Prix. Checo, though, is out of this race. Our second retirement and another VSC.
Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta on your dash. Right.
How many VSCs are we going to get? Well, this really does screw us over. Max Verstappen into the pit lane as well as everybody else. We need this VSC to come to an end if we want to try and utilise our strategy as best as possible. Come on! Why was the one when I pit so short? There you go.
Maintain your pace until we get the green flags. VSC ending. Wait for the greens. Okay,
there we go. We timed that well.
Resulting in loose debris. Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are so far no plans for a safety car.
Whoa, no. No. I forgot as soon as I got on the wet patch. That could have been really bad. We somehow save it, though. Are we going to be back up in the points, though, or at least fighting around them as everybody else makes their way back onto the circuit? That worked out almost too well for Max Verstappen at the front of the field, but as they make their way out,
DRS is now enabled.
we're pretty much exactly where we were. How have we ended up exactly where we were in this race? I think the only difference is Stroll is yet to box. Oh, there we go. That's Stroll in. That's really good for us. So I think, yeah, he's certainly...
Keep it up. Gap to your teammate behind. 15.1 seconds.
Well, I'm not going to complain about fastest lap either. It won't hang on for very long. As how has Stroll stayed out ahead of me here? He might not meet me down the hill as... Oh, we got to really try and... What is he doing? Lance Stroll, there's a maniac as he tries to force me off towards the grass. But I'm there, buddy. What is that? Well, claim the DRS of him. Carlos Sainz, though, since his opportunity. We're going to be 3 wide as we make our way up the Kemmel Straight. Lance Stroll, that is a ban if ever I've seen one. Deserved for that. We'll go clean back around the outside, though, with a pair of them finding the grip on the dry line. Stroll, he needs a serious talking to. Oh, Sainz is so fast. Carlos Sainz is so fast at the moment in a straight line. Clean around my outside. Again, he wants to squeeze me. I'll give him some room on the exit of the corner as Stroll's now going to try and have a look back in. Sainz again is going to get down the inside though at the bus stop, and I feel, yeah, all of our early race pace here is really starting to evaporate. Come on, we need to use him for the DRS though. I don't want to let Stroll by. I want to score a point. Sainz locks up even down at turn 1. I almost follow him, but luckily we avoid doing it. Unfortunately, this is going to leave me very vulnerable as we make our way up through Eau Rouge and Radion. This is just pure Belgium wet to dry racing. We spoke about it last time out at Hungary, how good that circuit can be in these conditions. As again, we're going to be 3 wide up the Kemmel Straight this time round, though. Stroll has to brake early on his hards on the wet line, and I can't hang on. Well, I'm hoping now, after the chaos that was the opening half of this Grand Prix, that we can just kind of stick with Stroll and Carlos Sainz over the next few laps. But all 3 of us, are taking a little bit of time out of Esteban Ocon, as here goes Stroll. No, not quite close enough this time round to get the run. The other good thing is all of the squabbling going on behind me is hopefully meaning that we're pulling away a nice safety buffer. Basically, my plan is to try and snatch the place back off Stroll on the final lap, because doing it any time before then is basically pointless. Oh no, we got more yellows. I think that's a Mercedes. I think that might be Lewis Hamilton that's ran into problems here. Is he going to be able to get back on the road? Yes. Yes, he is. Oh, we are really starting to struggle now. Stroll's just pulling away from me. Hamilton's re-jump here. Gasly. So he's going to be just dragging that Alpine along now, unless Sainz can have a look down the inside. And this is the problem, of course. You lose the DRS of the car in front, and just the gap opens up exponentially. Alonso is setting fastest lap after fastest lap, trying to close in on that group of cars in front of him. As I believe, yeah, Gasly back up into the podium places. But we are just dropping away now.
teammate by 19.1 seconds.
Oh, that's not going to help me either. I feel like the next car we're going to end up battling with is probably going to be Oscar Piastri behind. With 5 laps to go then, these last few laps have been a real wake-up call for me, just realising how much more pace we still need to try and find in this car. Oscar Piastri, well, there's no real point trying to slow him down. If anything, with how aggressively they're fighting up in front, our best bit is try and use the McLaren to actually try and bring us in a little bit closer again. So we'll sit behind him, we'll use the DRS wherever we can. Staggeringly though, I was starting to get a bit worried that the mediums might hang on with how early we boxed. They could easily do the whole Grand Prix here in these conditions. Aw, damn it, 3 laps to go. We've lost the range to Piastri. I don't think he's got enough to try and get up to the top group either as well. So points today, I think once again, agonisingly, are going to escape us. I've noticed Yumu as well is having an almighty battle with one of those Sauber cars right towards the end. You know, it is nice to see all the development we're putting into our second driver. It's something I've never done before on these games. Is starting to pay off slightly. Well, I'll be honest, there's a small part of me that just wonders whether everything this weekend until about the final 6 or 7 laps really did mask the lack of pace we had. You know, the changeable conditions in qualifying, the fact we were able to time the run with the best conditions, and then ultimately, you know, the intermediates really helped us out. But once the track dried up, we've just had nothing when we're not in the DRS of the other cars, and it goes to showcase just how much more work there is still to do with this car. The same can't be said for Max Verstappen. He is going to claim yet another Grand Prix victory. And I remember earlier on in the year, we said how there might be a title fight. Yeah, the Dutchman, he's not interested in the championship fight this year. Once again, is going to extend that lead at the top of the table with a victory here in Belgium. McLaren, I think that's Lando Norris. Yep, obviously going to come home for P2. Gutted for Pierre Gasly. He really did deserve a podium this weekend with the way he's driven. But I don't think he's going to quite cement that. But it is still going to be a big double points haul for the Alpine team as well, which could end up being a big rival for us later on in the campaign. Through the final couple of corners, though, P12 I don't think we can really complain about all too much, but we are going to survive here in the Ardennes.
A difficult race then on one of the all-time classic circuits, but they've persevered to take the win here today.
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course, and it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, you know, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forwards?
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Well, there we go, Max Verstappen. It is not the full 26 points there. Lando Norris able to poach fastest lap right at the end, but it is still going to be the dub once more there. And another trophy going back to Milton Keynes there. Charles Leclerc P3 ahead of Gasly, Alonso and Lewis Hamilton means 6 drivers from 6 different teams making up our top 6 come the end of the day, with Sainz, Ocon, Russell and Stroll rounding out our point scorers there. Oscar Piastri, though, he did a fantastic recovery drive when we've seen the AI struggle so much this year, and Awasa did beat out Bottas by just 38 thousandths of a second come the checkered flag there. Sergio Perez and Alex Albon both failing to see the finish there. But you can see in the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen now almost with a 100-point lead over George Russell, who's got 10 ahead of Charles Leclerc there. Hamilton ahead of Sainz, Norris and Sergio Perez, as well as Alonso waiting in the wings as well there. And we're just still 9 points back from Oscar Piastri. Has next to no luck in this series. Gasly leapfrogs his way up into P11 ahead of Zhou, Stroll and Valtteri Bottas. And yeah, further down the order, it is still just Hulkenberg and Wasser, our two teammates on this game, that are still yet to score a point there. Constructors-wise, Alpine make big gains towards us. They are now just 32 points back there as Red Bull with an 81-point lead over the Brackley-based squad as well. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns from its summer break, ready for the Dutch Grand Prix.